Hey guys, Adam Gianarella here. I've been fortunate enough to be with Quantum and Seaguar and a couple other companies, Dirty Jigs Tackle, Rains Tungsten. Been able to be with these guys for the last couple of years. I just want to show you some products that Quantum has and the Seaguar line that I use for some early season spring smallmouth fishing. It's late March, 22nd, 23rd. It's cold here in northern Pennsylvania. The nights are still in the 20s. The daytime temperatures up in the high 40s, low 50s. But the fish are still biting. They're a little slow, but they're still biting. There's been a couple small tournaments here on the river, and the guys have been catching some good numbers. So I'm just going to show you some of the setups I have. Number one setup I probably use on the river is in the early spring is a jerk bait. And the rod here, it's a Quantum Smoke Series rod. It's a 6'9". It's a medium action. This is a fiberglass rod. It's very light. All the Smoke Series rods are built to be light. It's paired with a smoke reel. That's a 6.1 to 1 reel. It's got a big spool on there for a lot of line. It's a spool with 15-pound Seaguar and Vizex. And the reason I use 15-pound, I like that bait. Stay up a little higher in a water column this time of year. I don't want the bait hitting the bottom. You get hung up a lot on. There's a lot of old logs and just a lot of brush and stuff in the river. You end up getting hung up a lot. So the more I can keep my bait up over the fish's head, have them come up to the lure, the more I seem to get bit. Also throwing a 120 series IMA lure. That's called the IMA Flit. And that is a really sweet lure there. Casts is like a bullet. Suspends, which seemed like it suspends forever. I mean, it doesn't come floating right back up to the surface. It'll sit right there and suspend. Really gets the fish to a good chance to look at it. And we fish these fairly slow right now. You know, a jerk, maybe 2 jerks, and then you're pausing it for 10 to even 20 seconds or longer. Changed the hooks out, and I did put some Mustad, the KVD triple grips on there, and they are just nasty, sticky, sharp. But this rod, you know, going back to the tip here and the action of it, it's a medium heavy. And I like that medium heavy because it's not really soft. It's kind of a bigger jerk bait. So when I pull on the jerk bait, it's still kind of, you know, I don't pull with my reel. I pull with the rod and get the line to move. And if I'm throwing a smaller series jerk bait, maybe the 100 series, then I go down to a 6'9" medium action. I'll probably put 12-pound Seaguar and Vizex on there. But this is a pretty good setup for me. Once again, here it's a Quantum, the Smoke Series rod, paired with the Quantum Smoke Series 6.1 to 1 gear ratio. And let me see, I don't know if I can get the tip in this video or not. The tip is super, super soft and responsive. It's got the micro guides on it, which I've come to like. Now, Quantum did update some of their rods this year, and they came out with the Smoke S3 rod, which I'll do some videos on that later. And they went back to the to a different guide with that, the bigger guides. But these rods still have the micro guides. I've never had really any problem with them. Only problem I did have would be early if you're fishing, and if you're out in the teens and the 20s, they tend to ice up. So you just want to spray some real snot on there, and that seems to take care of that. The other technique I like to do on the river this time of year is cranking. And Quantum has the best crankbait fisherman on their pro staff right now. Kevin Van Dam, you know, he designed this reel and this rod. And I've had this rod for 4 or 5 years. It's one of his signature series rods. It's Tour KVD series. This is 7.4. I also have a 7-footer, and it's paired with a Quantum Tour KVD reel. Big, nice reel, light reel, has really soft grips on there so your hands don't slip off, your fingers don't slip off. Awesome drag system. And it's got a 5.3 to 1 gear ratio. I like that slower gear ratio when I'm cranking. You know, I can throw a bigger crankbait on this. I can throw square bills on this. I normally throw 6 to 8 foot or 6 to 12 foot cranks on this. And I got 12-pound line on here. I'll go down to 10-pound line sometimes, but I really like the 12-pound Seaguar and Vizex again. It's a very soft line. It doesn't, you know, get all the, when you cast it, you don't see all the little curls in your rod and the curls in your line. I do spray some real snot on there, and that seems to take care of a lot of the problems you have with line memory. And this is just a great setup. I like that slower gear ratio again because it gives you a little more torque, and you don't want to work that bait real fast. You want to bounce that bait off the bottom. The fish are still kind of lethargic, but they'll chase it, they'll grab it. They usually grab the back hook. But this has just kind of your normal series Fuji guides on here, normal size guides. And it's a mixed rod. It's composite and fiberglass. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You have a really stiff backbone here, and you got that really nice soft tip. I want to show you guys this tip here and how soft it is. And you got a lot of action in that tip, and that just helps when the fish bites. You just kind of load up on it. You don't have a huge nasty hook. So you just want to reel back into the fish. You got good sharp hook, good sharp mustad hooks, and the bait will get them, and then just reel them in. But this is another great rod by Quantum. You guys can check these out online at quantumfishing.com. Also check Seaguar out, www.seaguar.com. Check out all their line. They got several kinds of braided lines and fluorocarbon and monofilament. The other setup I got here is another real popular technique we use pretty much all year, but springtime is just throwing a jig. This is a Dirty Jigs jig, and I've been with them for a couple years. Great company. And they make a great swim jig. They make a lot of finesse jigs, big flipping jigs, all kinds of different jigs. And this is it's a lead jig. It's a Luke Clausen series. This is his compact finesse jig, 3/8 ounce. Got a super sharp hook on it, and the hook isn't going to flex out on you. You know, it's not super stiff, but the hook is strong. It's got a nice little weed guard on there. I usually don't monkey with that much. I might cut a couple strands off of that. This is that brown and purple color, real popular color. It's got a little, I think it's a net bait, little mini pocket trailer there. And the rod again is it's a Quantum Tour Edition rod, just a 7-foot rod, medium heavy action. It's got a fast tip on it. It's got a nice backbone. It's not a real stiff rod. This is a rod I use for lighter jigs. I'm talking ½ ounce is the heaviest I'm going to throw on this. Mainly I'll throw 3/8. And like I said, the heaviest is going to be a ½ ounce jig. I got it 15-pound Seaguar and VizX line. And I got a Quantum Tour Edition, got a burner reel on here actually. This is one of their older Tour Edition reels, and this reel's been with me for at least 4 years, and I've beat it up every year, and I grease it every year, and take care of it and clean it, and they just last. And it's a great reel. You put a lot of line on there. It's fast. You got 11 ball bearings in this. It's a 7.1 gear ratio, or it's a 7, 0.1 gear ratio. So you're picking up a lot of line, you know, when you feel those bites. And right now we're just crawling this jig on the bottom, and a lot of the bites are just little pecks, and they got it. It's usually a good fish. So you catch your small fish on a jig, but I mean that's basically one of the best baits to use right now in the early spring here for smallmouth. That's a good picture of that. All right, well, that's all I got for you right now. Next segment, we'll talk about some new spinning rods that I got this year from Quantum, the Smoke S3s. I got them paired with the new Quantum series smoke reels. I got the burner series reel, so it's 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. So every time you turn that reel, you're picking up 39 inches of line. So we'll talk more about that in the next little segment I do. All right, see you guys out in the water.